Divi 5 now has CSS GRID. Is it easy to use? And how can we get up and running really, really fast? Let's dive in. So the first thing I'm going to do here is to add some columns. So one thing I noticed straight away is they have these labels now called flex, and you can see all these flex columns. But when you scroll further down, now you have the grid. So you have to choose which grid you want to go with. So there's several ways, you can apply your grid. So what I'm going to do here is to choose a layout, which is, pretty much random, and see how easy it is to use the grid system. So the layout I'm going to go with is this one right here. I'm going to go ahead and select it. So right away, you can see we have areas now where we can add all our content. But as you can see here, the gap here between these items is a bit too much. And when you hover over here, you notice also that you can add something in here. So you can see we can add more elements, which I think is a good thing. But if you want to delete it, I noticed that you have to come over here to the right and delete the item here. Okay. And you can just continue on and delete all the items that you don't need. And it rearranges itself. But of course, I don't want to do that. Let's bring it back. So let's start adding all our elements. So to make things easier, I'm just going to use an image here. So let's go and add an image module. And I'm just going to go in here, add an image. So I'm going to start off with this one here, upload. I'm going to do the same on the bottom here, image, select, and then we're going to upload. So this time we're going to go with this one. I mean, these are just random images, by the way. Right. So you also notice that this is expanding based on the content that I have on here. So let's go in and also add another image here. This time we want to choose an image which is horizontal. So let's go ahead and select that. And I think this one can work. Let's go ahead and select that, upload image. Now we notice that it's not really going all the way because it is not, tall enough, which is a problem in this case. But anyway, let's just continue on and add all our content. So again, we're going to add our image. Now, what I noticed that really helps here is to have images that are like proper sizes, because if you don't choose the proper sizes, you won't get a very good layout. Now, you notice that these two here are looking, okay, because they are the right sizes. So with this now, you look at that and say, okay, what else do I need to do here? Now, if you want to reduce the gap between these images, what you want to do is to make sure, now sometimes it disappears. You want to go into your rows. In fact, let me come over here to my layers. Okay, it's easier to find it here. Okay, so with the row selected, you want to go in here, go to your layout, and in the grid, and notice that we can also change it to flex or block right here. So at any point, you can go in and change the style here, which I think is very, very good. It's a good thing to have right there in case you decide to change. All right, so let's say we want to add 2 RAM. You notice that now the space has changed, and then I'm going to do the same here on the bottom. Okay, so we have equal spacing now. So over here it's saying 4 columns. We can change the amount of columns here. You notice that if I go to 3, it has changed. I can go to 2, and I can just change the arrangement here. And I think this is a quick way of just creating the layout that you need really fast. Now, if there's empty columns, we can also collapse it. And I really like that touch right there. I think this is really good. So again, if you want to bring it back to how it was, we have our 4 columns, which is great. So you may be asking, so what if I want to make further adjustments? Now, there's a lot in this grid interface. We also have grid auto columns. You can go in here and change the grid columns. If you want to leave it at auto, you can leave it at auto here. We also have our row heights. So this is where you can add, your heights. You can have your equal height rows. And there's a lot of items you can choose here. Now for these, you have to go in and play around with this and see what they actually do. In fact, if you're not aware of this, I have a Divi 5 course. It's called Divi 5 Mastery. It's only going for $27. So head over to diviuniversity.com, and if you go to courses, here it is. it has 712 students so far. So it's only $27. You can go ahead and sign up for that. I will be updating that course with all the latest features that Divi is releasing. So the link to that will be in the video description below. All right, so let's continue on. We also have our grid direction. So at the moment, it's row. You can also change it here, and you can see right away it is changed. So this is where you can play around with the direction, the density as well. You can adjust the density. And you can see there, it has changed. So there's so many ways that you can rearrange content on your page. All right, so we're back to where we were. We also have ways to align our items. So we can justify, we can center our items, you can end, and so on. Over here now, we have our grid offset rules. I mean, there's a lot that we can do with the grid system. I was amazed by how much detail, is in here. We can really go in and customize quite a lot. So here we have 5n plus 1. You can change this to 5n plus 2, and you can see now the orientation now changes and the grid itself changes. And let's say we go with 5n, plus 3, plus 4, and so on. Okay. So let's go back to where we were. I think it was plus 1. There we go. So you can change quite a lot here to get your desired layout. So we also have our column span. We can make it start. We can row start. Look at that. So this is where you can go in and play around with this until you get your desired layout, which I think is really, really powerful. The options are just endless. Okay. So with that now, we have our fourth item. You can span things and so on. What I found really exciting about this is when it comes now to the views, the mobile views, by default, it doesn't look great. I have to say that, okay? Let's do a quick preview here so you can see what I mean. So we're going to refresh that. I think something is wrong because this is the layout that we need. Let's save this and do a hard refresh. Okay, so with this layout now, we can go into the tablet and decide how you want things to look in the tablet, because right now you can see things are getting really squashed together and this may not be the desired outcome. If we come in here, you can see again, things are getting really, really super tight. So in my opinion, I don't think this is the best way to have this. So in order for you to adjust this for different screen devices, what you want to do now is to head over here. So let's go back in. Going to go to our layers here. Row. Okay. So in our row, if we go to design and then choose tablet, for example, we can now go to our grid and decide how many columns we need to have here. So right now we have 4. You can change it to 3 if you want to, or you can bring it down to 2. So let's say that's how you want things to be. I can save that. But what about your mobile phone? If I come over here, again, the same thing. I can say, okay, you know what? I want a single column, and then I can just do that. And then everything is all in a straight line. Okay. This is how you would do mobile editing. So let me just refresh this one more time. And then we are going to inspect. Right. So you can see there things are changing, and then, oh, that hasn't updated. But anyway, you see what I mean? When the screen gets smaller, you don't want to have a situation where things are not moving. So you want to make sure you have a grid which adapts to the different screen sizes. Anyways, so I'm going to save that. And the cool thing as well is you can save this as a preset for your row defaults. So let's say next time you want to use a similar layout, you can always come over here to the presets and select it. So far, in my opinion, the CSS grid is very, very easy to use. You just need to get used to it a little bit, play around with the different settings, and get your desired layout. But out of the box, It is very, very easy to use, and I can't fault it in any way. So I'm trying to think of a negative, but I can't find a negative here. I think this is very good. The implementation is very, very easy to understand. But like I said, you got to make sure that you go in and work out with the interface how the grid here actually works. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments box below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.